Hello, moms and teachers. I just wanted to explain a little bit about. I know that teaching literature through art is something that's very, very interesting to a lot of people. And I really feel like I just want to explain this book to you, uh, these ideas, and just give you some quick ideas for lessons. I always encourage teachers and people that are working with children to be real creative as you're teaching. So this might give you some ideas of literature and art. Of course, Hans Holbein, Hare in the Forest. I love this picture. And I'm doing a number series for children, for little ones. And of course, this is going to be part of it because number 10 is rabbits. This book was dedicated to one of my best friends, Penny Willis, who passed away at very severe Alzheimer's. So I know some of you might have worked with that, and it's very difficult. I was spurred on to write this book because I read a book called The Author as Visual Artist. Interestingly enough, some literary masters, Edgar Allan Poe, Robert Louis Stevenson, Oscar Wilde, Charlotte Bronte, O. Henry, and even Winston Churchill were doubly gifted in art and writing. So, as often that is the case. One of my favorite artists is Jessie Wilcox Smith, who brought Heidi to life. Many things in literature. She was an illustrator, and I love it that she used mixed media, which is a wonderful thing to use. Here's one of her pictures, and she certainly captured a young person that's very sick and what they're going to do. So I hope this is a fun supplement. And again, just giving you guys ideas. You can start with and we're combining literature and art. You can start with illuminated text. And on my channel, I have an actual how to do illuminated illuminated text, which I think you'll really enjoy. And it's a brief thing of my showing you how to do it. It's a great idea for children, I think, to do. And you combine writing and art together. There's different points of views in writing. And there's the third person, the second person, first person. And you can talk about that when you look at pictures. Here's a really, Carl Spitzwig is a very famous artist that did people in this, of course, different situations. So here we go. The gentleman here is looking at a deer and he's just starting a sandwich, and there's the deer. So many wonderful, wonderful pictures, character studies, point of view. I'm going over this very quickly because I know that most of you are very busy. An epic, we have the Iliad and the Odyssey and Beowulf, and this talks about literature and people bringing these to life in pictures. The hero Beowulf, and Grendel was the dragon. And you look at the pictures that the artist developed to tell the story. So if you have a student that loves art and loves writing together, you can cover great masterworks in literature and do a little bit of art to go with it. You can, in here, there's some lessons, you can create characters that were knights, and this is a little bit of how to draw people. A fable is a fictional story. Again, Aesop's fables delight a child, the ant and the grasshopper. And you can look at pictures of this and talk about them, and then have students create their very own. Of course, a fairy tale like The Ugly Duckling, The Little Mermaid, you can find beautiful old illustrations of these wonderful fairy tales. Here's Hansel and Gretel, wonderful illustration. And then allow them to create their own illustration, thereby covering writing and you're doing your literature and you're doing your art. And for your visual and kinesthetic learners, this is terrific. A tall tale, you're looking at your images. A couplet, these are all things in literature that's important to know. Fracture, you can put a couplet in a piece of fracture, which is art by the Pennsylvania Dutch. A narrative poem, Edgar Allan Poe was a brilliant artist. And you can have the student talk a little bit about different values and patterns. And again, I'm going over this very quickly, but in illustrating poems. And again, I've looked at some of Edgar Allan Poe's art, and he is a brilliant portrait artist, just brilliant. So you can be learning some principles in art, doing some hands-on, and we have talk mystery novels and their illustrations, science fiction, the War of the Worlds, listen to the radio broadcast. My mother actually believed it was happening. That's how old I am. They were listening to it, and they really believed the Martians were invading. Jules Verne, amazing things about Jules Verne. He thought of a submarine before it was ever invented. And the most amazing thing, I think, is that there was a giant squid, and he didn't know that I think it was 1970s, they discovered there was a creature. It is a creature, 17 feet, can be 17 feet long, the giant squid. Disney illustrated it. It looked good. It's amazing, amazing. But at any rate, you can look at these old images and of course, outer space. Who thought of it? And the aliens. These are things in literature. A short story, main character, setting, climax, summarize the plot. Who's telling the story? Again, the jumping frog of Calaveras County. Excellent, excellent example. Legends. We have John Cador brought to life the Headless Horseman and Rip Van Winkle in art, creating, social commentary. Amazing Grapes of Wrath, Migrant Mother did it. She did, Dorothea Lange did it in photography. Poetry, again, you have John Waterhouse brought many things to life in fabulous art. A sonnet, I love this. This is Michelangelo. And I recently saw more pictures from Michelangelo. And when I was taking sculpting in college at Southern Illinois University, I had my poor brother bring this gigantic rock in. We had to have people help me because I wanted to get the feel of chipping it away, just like Michelangelo did. And I had these great images of what I was going to do. And it was such a disaster. I still have it today, but all I could do is someone holding their knees and their hair. I mean, it's not good at all. To think that Michelangelo actually did things that were so real out of stone. You could see the blood veins, and his Moses, they say that he hit it on the knee and said, "Now speak." And this is the sonnet that he wrote about how much he did not like the Sistine Chapel and painting it. Very interesting. You can have the students do their own hand picture. Haiku poetry. Again, you can combine the art and the literature. Freeform verse. Again, The Dust of Snow. Robert Frost illustrating something from him. The most famous bird artist, of course, in American history would be Audubon. And you can talk about pictures that he created, the hair, draw a rabbit, get the feel of Albrecht Dürer's amazing realism that he did, and write a poem about it. Plays, bringing a play to life. Of course, you have the set designer, you have the set, the costume designer, and how did they figure out what people would wear in movies and plays? They looked at masterworks of art. They didn't have photographs or read a verbal description. Acrostic poetry is a visual type of poetry. It's really fun. Lewis Carroll, Through the Looking Glass. Cinquain poetry. Again, I'm going over this very quickly. Concrete poetry, diamante poetry. A limerick is so much fun. And this is an actual picture of a limerick brought to life. Nursery rhymes, we have many beautiful examples of them being brought to life. The novels, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Moby Dick. Again, we're covering things in literature and we're doing it in a very visual way. Treasure Island, making maps. How much fun is that? Making tall ships easily. A novella. What is a novella? And how can I create something that goes with that? Personification. Uh, praise the children, and they will blossom like flowers. One of my favorite pictures is a little picture of children's faces in the flowers and them smiling. Doing a journal. One of the most famous is Catlin's journal. I love all the stories in it. Very interesting, very a lot of fun to read. And Lewis and Clark, actually had drawings that went along with their journal. Beardstadt pictured the American West at the time Lewis and Clark were there in amazing, amazing art. Again, the Native Americans, Chief White Cloud, these are all things that art you can find. The Pirate Traveler, we have a handbook. This is really fun. A biography is a detailed description. What is it? An autobiography. We talk about several very, very famous ones. Essays. What is an essay? Poster art, very important. Visual communication, Art Deco, Art Nouveau, poster art, vocabulary. And all of these are the vocabulary of literature, and a little test at the very end that you can take. And again, this is just a really, really fun and interesting way to teach literature and art. And I hope to give you some good ideas. Rainbow Resources sells this book. You can contact me about it. And anyway, have a really, really wonderful day and enjoy art.